Number 14 appears to be a scales etude written in A major. However, it is actually a combination of many 4-note patterns combined with the scale. Let's take a look at the beginning. You start with a 4-note descending scale, but immediately you have a turn. Then you have an octave scale. The same pattern of 4-note scale, turn, octave, and then repetitions of 4-note scale. And then a turn and scale. Repeat it, basically a trill, scale, and then a long scale. A turn, scale, broken chord. So if we try to blend through all of that, instead of acknowledging all these changes, you will start to get tangled up a little bit here, and you'll start to feel a lot of tension. So let's try it without the accents. Now let's try it once without the accents. Even though I can make it through, it just sounds very tight and there is no shaping. So a lot of times when we talk about dynamic contrast, we talk about shaping, we're actually just trying to outline the contour. So if your line goes up, you swing up. If you have changes in pattern, you accent a little bit. And so we have to understand the patterns or the grouping of notes before we start talking about shaping. Now, as we move down, I would like to point out a very interesting or fun little gesture to try. At bar 13, what we have is a broken chord. And it's fine if you just rock a little bit back and forth and keep your wrists at the same height but turn slightly. What I would suggest that you try is actually, if we take the bench back, a slight little squatting idea. So you're dipping and you're swinging this way down. That will help you to create the forte and piano change much easier than if you're sitting here and going. And that becomes very vertical. If I can direct your attention, and let's move on to when we get to measure 23, when you have a drop in the left hand, I would also try squatting. And it's really fun for the students to practice away from the bench, so they are not so locked up in their core area, and they have to understand that sometimes your sound is going to go below where you're sitting. So try one more time from here. And we can continue actually to practice the next part away from the bench as well, because as we shift to the right side of the keyboard, you really should learn how to shift your body weight. So if we go from here, and then you can move your entire body instead of being limited by your bench, and then come back. It's a very fun practice. So in summary, what we want to take a look at in this etude is understand the small patterns built within the large phrase, and then practice away from the keyboard. So as you have big drops, and then big shifts, to understand how much movement can you actually have, even if you're sitting on the bench, to help your fingers create all the shaping and all the movement you need from the etude.